Welcome back, guys. My name's Roberto, FPL Yellow Army here, and I'm the official juicer of Watford for FPL Juice. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a fresh update on all things the Golden Boys, the Hornets, Watford, heading into that curtain raiser game week 1 face-off against Aston Villa. It should be a really fascinating one. So we're going to go through a range of things. Of course, my team Watford. Let's look at that first fixture of the season. Game week 1, it's Aston Villa, and it's going to be a very fascinating game, a difficult game. Villa have made some strong signings. And of course, I'm going to try and predict for you guys my lineup. And there's been a lot of variation in pre-season. We've had Ashley Fletcher playing up front. We've had Dan Gosling in the midfield. There's been rumours about Will Hughes even going to Aston Villa. And there's been, a lot of injuries in there as well. Good to see that Dapo Mabude was confirmed okay after he had a bit of a horrific one in the Stevenage match. Went to hospital, but he's now okay and he's gone out on loan. But in terms of some main injury updates to tell you about, before we just get into those kind of ideas about the lineup. So there was good news that Domingos Quina, the Portuguese midfielder, he's back in training after recovering from a thigh injury. So he's one to watch. I think he's one that might not necessarily play every week, but he's certainly one to keep your eye on. Tom Dele-Bashiru as well. He's a young player who might get involved later on in the season. And it's great to see him get minutes against St Albans City for the under-23s. And he was out since October of last season for a horrific injury against Reading. So that's fantastic to see. And also Kiko Femenia. There's an injury update for you that you might want to know about. Because, of course, in that game at the Championship end of last season, he did have an injury against Millwall. And it was a very unfortunate one, the abductor strain there. So he's pushing to start against Aston Villa. But it's certainly going to be a tight call. He's pushing to recover. And he's close to returning to fitness. But certainly it is a difficult situation with Femenia because he's not really had much of a pre-season. Jeremy Ngak has been playing most of the games. And that is going to put a lot of pressure on him. But yeah, those are my injury updates. And I've also got to say don't worry about Francisco Sierralta. You might have seen Watford's pre-season games, and Sierralta actually hasn't been playing many of them, but it's all right. He's been on the bench, or he's been playing with the second team. Teams separated off in different times of day because he wants to get that Premier League experience and fitness. So moving on to my likely lineup then. This is what I'm going for that Aston Villa home match, and I'm going to go for a 4-3-3 formation. This is what we deployed in the Championship last season. It could be switched to a 4-4-2 or equally a 4-2-3-1. But at the end of the day, this is kind of an attacking formation if we really do go for it, at least to the start of the season where we have got quite favourable fixtures. Daniel Bachmann in goal. That's what I'm going with because, he's our number one man and he was a fantastic player in the Euros, fantastic player last season. And he's going to be a really interesting one at 4.5 million. Jeremy Ngakia, I'm actually going to go for ahead of Kiko Femenia because I just think it's too much of a rush, too much of a risk. With Kiko Femenia having that, really delayed pre-season, I think Jeremy Ngakia's got into the stride of things. He's a fantastic young talent, and I think he will start on that right-hand side. William Troost-Ekong in the centre. He's been fantastic last season, and I think he'll get partnered once again with strong centre-back Francisco Sierralta, the Chilean Maldini. I think he'll go strong again. And then left back, we're going for Danny Rose ahead of Adam Messina because Messina's also had quite a disrupted pre-season. Came off against West Bromwich Albion in our 0-0 draw and actually did come on and he played half of the game against Doncaster and then was taken off at half-time. But it does worry me. I think Messina is a player who does have a few injury problems sometimes. Though Danny Rose is the fitness he is and the age that he is, I'd worry that Messina is kind of going to get thrown into it, and actually we should give Rose a chance to prove himself. And it was good to see that Rose was coming into the club, but you do worry about players at that age, how their fitness is. But I think actually, despite that, that Rose is at a better position right now, even though there are some worries about fitness with Danny Rose. He's in a better position to start than Adam Messina, and Rose, of course, played that game against Crystal Palace, our final of the pre-season, and unfortunate there to give away a penalty, but we know he's still got so much quality that he can give to that team. Then in that 3 in the midfield, we're going for Imran Louaza, the new signing from FC Nantes, and he's going to do really well. Now, he actually did play a bit more of a further forward position in that centre against Crystal Palace in a 4-1-2-3 formation, but you'd imagine he's in that midfield 3, and he could be a bit of a differential, but wait and see with him. Tom Cleverley is going to be my man as well in there. He just shows the passion of the club, and a former Aston Villa player, of course. He is just so passionate. He chases down everything, and he can really fill in for that spot that maybe Will Hughes could leave if he does end up leaving. And then I've got the new signing as well, Etebo, from loaning from Stoke City. It's a very good signing. You know, he's played at high level with Galatasaray, and I think he's going to have a strong season. So hopefully he can get up against those kind of strong Aston Villa defensive midfielders like Douglas Luiz to kind of win that battle in the middle of the park. And then my front 3 predicted, on the left-hand side, we're going to go with Emmanuel Denise. I'm going to give him his debut. I think that this could be a very tough one to call because, you know, Ken Sema was fantastic last season and he loves getting down the byline. But also you can play Joao Pedro on that left-hand side. But I just think it fancies Dennis to play on that left. And equally, you can have Joao Pedro, you know, as well as playing on that left, try and target for the forward line. But Troy Deeney will be up for this one. You know, he's had a good pre-season. He looks fairly fit considering. And I think that, yeah, he's always scoring against Aston Villa. It's an amazing stat that we'll go on to speak about. So Deeney is my man up front. And then on the right-hand side, Ismail Assar is going to play and he's going to be lethal once again. So that is my predicted lineup. In terms of key players for this game, we've got Bachmann at 4.5 million. He just racks up the saves, and that is save points. Even if Villa do get a few goals, we can get some bonus points if we're lucky. And Daniel Bachmann actually has got a reputation of saving some penalties, so watch out for that if, you know, El Ghazi or someone is stepping up for Villa. Maybe he could, you know, get the support behind him with the fans back. Ismail Assar, 6 million, is just a must for me. If you want a Watford asset, he's got to be your man, and Watford did so well to keep hold of him. Sarr, fair play to him. He committed himself to the club. He wanted to get this team back up, and he just looks so rapid. And he's going to give, you know, the fullback for Aston Villa a torrid time. So, yeah, he was a player we really missed in that reverse fixture versus Villa last season, but he scored in the game at this point in last season. We were in the Premier League at Vicarage Road, and he's going to be a very good player for us at 6 million. Troy Deeney as well, 5.5 million. I mean, he's going to start in my opinion, but if he's not going to start, then he's the super sub that we all love, and he does just have that goal threat against Aston Villa. As of course, the boyhood Birmingham City fan, he's well up for it, and he's a great motivator. So if he is on the pitch, then maybe he takes off penalties from Ismail Assar. I wouldn't imagine that, you know, Joao Pedro, if he's playing, would take it off someone like Ismail Assar, but Deeney probably could. And then Emmanuel Denise is a bit of a punt. We'll see if he starts, but at 5 million, you're not kind of risking too much. It's kind of that mid-price bracket, and Dennis is actually qualified as a forward on the game. So if you want to play that 3-5-2 formation, you don't have to play Dennis this week, but you know, look at him going forward. He could be really nice, but let's hope for a great debut if he does get the start. Differentials to talk about. Under 10%, of course. We've got Danny Rose at 0.9%. I think he'll start ahead of Adam Messina, and he's so attacking. You know, he's great at getting forward and offering those chances from the whipped-in crosses. 0.9% owned. That could be a chance to expose maybe the next out-of-position defender that we all love and get those attacking returns. Ken Sema as well. He moved into the left-back spot against Crystal Palace. 0.1% owned. He could play left wing. He could go really at the byline and get those attacking returns. Ismail Assar, for me, got to be the captain consideration from this team. He's on such great form for Watford over the last seasons. He's explosive. And at the end of the day, you know, he scored in the reverse fixture, as I said. And, you know, 13 goals last season, top scorer. He'll give a lot of problems for Villa. And, yeah, Troy Deeney's the other one. 6 goals in his last 5 meetings across the 5 years previous playing against Aston Villa. So, overall, this game is going to be tough. There's no debating it. I think Bachmann will have a lot of saves to make, which could mean save points, but we'll just go for it. We'll play on the break, which suits Ismail's playing style, and you know, Villa have only won on this ground once, so we can really go for it. let's hope the attack is on all cylinders firing.